Love You, Hate You, Miss You is about Amy. When the book opens, she is just returning from rehab and she's dealing with the death of her best friend. It's a really traumatic time for her, and she deals with that by writing letters to her best friend Julia. And over the course of the book, she learns that the past isn't what she thought it was, and that the present and that life is something she's willing to embrace. I decided to use letters to structure Love You, Hate You, Miss You. It was actually just purely by chance. I've been sort of like noodling around with an idea for a while, but I hadn't really gotten a way to start it. And so I sat down one day and I wrote what ended up being the first chapter of the book, which is a letter from Amy to Julia. And when I was done, I was like, oh, letters. I hadn't thought of that. And so that's how the letters in the book came to be, just pure chance, really. There are a couple reasons why I wanted to write books for teens, actually. The first is that when I was younger, I read Judy Blume, and I still remember the first Judy Blume book I read. It was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I was so amazed because here was someone who understood what it was like to want to get your period. Okay, granted, now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, okay, way to want that. But when I was 10, it was like a dream, and it was like finally someone who understands how I feel. So Judy Blume was definitely a huge influence on me when I was younger. And then second, when I was an actual teenager, there weren't a lot of books for young adults, or the ones that were out there, the girls were all like impossibly tiny and had perfect lives, and I couldn't relate to them at all. And it wasn't until the late 90s that I discovered young adult literature again, and by that time I was in my 20s, but I completely fell in love with it because they were talking about situations that I'd gone through when I was a teenager, and I was like, wow. And it just completely captivated me, and I've been in love with young adult literature ever since.